What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another solo leveling Arise video. Okay guys, before we get on with the main topic at hand here, I do want to say something real quick. I think there's some misunderstanding for the last video about the armory. Shout out to Dollar Flames for mentioning this. I actually rebutted with my answer, but I think we kind of got the information misconstrued. So the reason why I made the armory and battle class together is kind of because they go hand in hand. So the armory itself, when you boost your power, this little total power here actually doesn't affect your stats in any way. It's like some of you guys are saying, it's currently, as it stands, fictitious stats. The whole point of the armory is to actually boost your overall power, CP. It is fluff, but its whole point is to actually increase that to make your battle class numbers look higher. That way you get yourself the rewards. That's it. That's all it's for, okay? So when I was explaining that to you guys, that's what I meant, why I put these two together in the same video, because they actually are meant for one another. So thank you guys for making that note. I put a note in the comment section just to clarify anything, because if you guys go back to the armory, you guys will see here that there's actually no stats here that get boosted. It's literally just a fluff number here, right, as you guys are calling it. So I'll continue with that lingo, because it would normally say like attack, crit, etc. But the number here is strictly used to enhance your actual power through for the battle class, okay, just to get these rewards here. That's really it. That's the whole purpose of it. Anyways, want to get that cleared out, so hopefully that will help you guys. Now, the main topic at hand, a lot of you guys have been asking me about simply increasing or understanding what artifacts to put on your character. So I'm going to give you guys 3 ways to simply do it. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm still going to do every single unit individually with my showcases, but I will give you an overarching methodology and logic behind how to gear up your units. It's very straightforward, okay? I'm going to give you 3 of them. The first one, it's going to be very straightforward. This is probably the easiest one. Go to your hunter, okay? Click on the hunter you want. So let's just use, I don't know, let's use a couple, for example. I use 3 of them, okay? We'll use Choi here as an example. I go to artifacts, right? And if I go to click on the artifact, right? Yeah, let me show you. Actually, you know what? Let me go back this way. Let me go back this way here. Hunter, not artifact. And then if I go to recommended stats right here, you can see exactly what they want you to do. It's pretty straightforward, right? You want attack, defense penetration, and damage increase. Those are the 3 main stats you want for Choi. Why? The question is why? Well, the way they do it, and this is actually genius on their part, is they pretty much explain to you how everything works through the skill. So for example, we talked about this on his showcase. Choi cannot do any crit hits. He cannot deal any crit hit at all, right? But his attack is increased by 40%. And because there's no ceiling for attack at the moment, the recommended stats are going to be attack, defense penetration, and damage increase. So what does that mean for artifacts for you? Well, pretty straightforward there. You want to do 2 things, okay? Depending where you have is A1 to A5. If you read the skills a little further, right, you guys can see here what each of the A1s do to A5 do. If you get his A5, he actually does faster recovery for his power gauge, which means you'll do more damage. You'll gain your ultimate faster, right? Also, end of days, which is his ultimate here, will do more damage if you have his A3. So all of these things make a difference. If you have just A0, it's simple. You just follow the recommended stats. Attack, defense, penetration, and damage increase. Because attack, there is an actual attack set. The best set for him would be this over here, right? They increase the user attack and ignore 15% of targets defense and attacks. So this would be the best set. You put on the arm set, right? Pretty straightforward. It tells you right there what the recommended stats were. Now, if I go back to the fact that I have an A5 unit and I'm going to do ultimates more often, I can change it up a tad bit, right? The logic behind is I want him to do ultimates as much as possible. So I can do 2 things. Number 1, I can make the ultimate do more damage. So 25% more damage here with the skills. The reason why I don't have the 4-piece yet, guys, is because I don't have good pieces yet to replace these ones. Or if you want just power acquisition to come even faster, you put on the destroyer set, right? Because again, everything's based around that ultimate. So either the ultimate does more damage and you can do it more often, or you can put more attack and just boost all of his skills altogether. So what you want to look for in substats for him, of course, is going to be attack, damage increase, and you guessed it, defense penetration. So all of your skills or all of your stats, you're going to want to find those exact things. So there you guys go, additional attack, defense penetration. Again, crit is not useful for him, right? Because he can't do it. So defense penetration, in this case, fire damage, of course, makes sense. You want to put fire damage on there. Attack percentage, and then of course, see critical hit damage here. This is a bad one, but it is what it is. This was originally for Sung Jin Woo, but I gave it to him because he's using a different set right now. Attack and defense penetration. So again, sometimes you're going to have little crosses like this where it comes through. We'll find a better piece for him eventually, but this is the point here, right? That's how you build up his abilities, right? Then there's the recommended stats. You can click on that icon right there. All right, let's use another example here. Let's go to Lee Bora. Lee Bora is a different unit, right? Lee Bora's stats are as follows: attack, crit hit rate, and crit hit damage. So clearly for her, you're going to want to put the crit set. Now, I don't have the crit set on right now for her for a reason. I'll explain more about that later. But right now, all you're looking for her is the following stats: attack, crit hit rate, and crit hit damage. Okay? Or crit damage, sorry. So you guys can see here, some of these are not very optimal for her, right? But the B set is great for her, right? Because we have the crit hit damage, we got the crit hit increase, and we need the 2P set here as well for that. So I'm not optimally using her. Now, dark damage, the elemental damage, you always want that to be a primary thing for the unit that you're using it for. But right now, this is not done correctly. Okay, this set is not correct for her. You want the crit set for her. Again, because of the recommended skills. The reason why I have this set on is because I used her recently for power gauge testing to see if I get power gauge for Sung Jin Woo on more than one unit. So this is going to be replaced by the crit hit set, and this is going to be replaced by the beast set. Okay, so that right there is going to be your number one thing. Again, if you look at someone like Lim, who uses attack, dark damage, and damage increase, you have a little bit more variety for this character now. Okay, so if you look at the view details tab here, you guys can see his crit hit rate is 611 only, his crit hit damage is that, etc. Right? If you go all, you guys can see, for example, everything. Okay, you don't have to just look at the one view, you can check all view, so the whole view. And his crit hit rate is really low. His crit hit damage is way too high. So for him specifically, you want to make sure that his attack is higher. You want to give him dark damage, which is only going to be right here for now, which is going to be the ring. So you want to make sure he has that because his skills actually increase his dark damage. And then at the same time, you want to make sure that you have the possible damage increase. Okay, he's not really meant to be a crit hit, crit damage character. You can definitely build him that way. But another thing to note about him, he's also a break unit, right? Because all of his skills have break into it, right? They're all break units. So you can build him one of two ways. You can give him the full attack set if you want to go pure attack for that, or you can build him with the full-on break set right here to break faster, right? And do more damage during the break because of the weakness attribute. Now, remember, there's also another option here for him too, which is really good because he's really good at basic attacks, and that's going to be the Dragoon set or a Dragon set, which enhances his basic attack skills and his core skills because he does core skills the entire time practically with basic attack. So those are like this artifact here. Right here. So understanding your character is going to help a lot. So this increases basic damage by 18% and increases core attack damage by 18% when the attack hits, charges core damage by 60. So this is a very, very powerful set for him as well too. But I currently use him as a breaker, so I have the break set on him. Now accessory wise, because you want attack and dark, make sure dark damage is there. Everything else is just going to be attack based. So everything with attack in it is what you want to look for. So there's attack there, attack there. Defense penetration always helps, guys. And again, you can build him crit if you want, but he's really not meant to be built that way. All right, last unit here. We'll talk about, there's actually two more units. Let's talk about Emma, which by the way, I got an A1 version after the stream was over. HP, defense, penetration, fire damage. Pretty straightforward, right? And if you look at her skills, all of her skills are built that way. Right? None of them have crit increase, none of that jazz. I have crit on her right now for only one reason. It's because of the stats that are being provided. The crit hit set's not recommended, by the way. So definitely HP set here makes sense because again, she scales off of HP, and that's what you want to know right there. Defense, penetration, and fire damage. So for the ring here, you're essentially just going to look for anything with fire damage on it. So fire damage, beast, and look, it's the beast set too, which is unfortunate, but try to find something with her that'll give her more of an attack boost with HP as well, right? So for example, the Aquamarine set is not a very good option unless you're just using her to tag her out and that's it, but you shouldn't be doing that with her. You should be using her full on. Behemoth set is not a bad option for her. She does obviously have HP increase, or not, sorry, HP recovery, so that might not work very well because you might go above the threshold pretty often. But another good one for her would be like the red-eyed bracelet, right? So whenever you land a crit, so that's not a bad one here. But overall, like this Viridescent bracelet is probably going to be her best one in general because it reduces her cooldowns and it gives her what she needs to do more damage overall. So let's see if I have a fire one. I don't. So that's what I would go for when it comes down to that set in general. So let's see, wind, no, light damage. There you go, fire damage. So I'll put that on for her, okay? So that'd be the set I'd probably equip for her. Or you can, I mean, if you want to build your crit, you can. But again, view the details. If you go to all, her crit rate is 40%, so not bad. You can definitely build her beast as well too and see how that goes. So a couple options are available for her. She's pretty flexible being a tank. You can also build her break as well too, because she has break all over every skill being a tank. So if you don't want to build her attack set with HP, sorry, if you don't use her HP set, you can build her half HP, half break, or half HP, half crit, half HP, half attack. She's so versatile. So there's a unit like that that can be very, very versatile for you as a character, right? And then lastly, going into the hunters, someone like Min, okay? So if you look at his artifacts, recommended stats are going to be HP, critical hit damage, and healing giving increase. Of course, being a healer, he's going to need that as well too, right? So the crit hit damage, of course, comes from the fact that he does provide a crit buff in one of his skills. Specifically this one uses crit damage increased by 40% of his crit damage. So you actually do want to build him crit hit damage because the buff is based off of how much he has. So definitely artifact wise, you want to do HP for him, but then the stats you want to go as much crit hit damage stats as you possibly can get. Now again, he's not built correctly for me because I don't have any of the crit hit damage. So this HP, for example, I would swap for crit hit damage instead. So if I go change in general, let's see if I have one. Perfect, there you go. So this is what I would actually put for him, because that way now, when everybody gets the buff, he gives that buff out with more crit hit damage. So that's how you build him. Now, from an artifact perspective, I use Aquamarine. The reason why is he's going to be my tag in, tag out unit very often. So whenever he tags out, I get a boost to attack. Whenever he tags in, I get a boost to attack. So it's a back and forth buff constantly happening. So that's essentially what you want to do. You want to look at the recommended stats, guys, and you want to build around that. And of course, understanding what you have as a unit and what their skills do makes a big impact. So for example, if you don't want to follow the recommended, that's fine. Just see what your skills do and base it off of that. So everything's based off of HP. You guys can see this. You guys can see his passive, in fact, or his skills also boost certain type of buffs, so giving you crit hit rate and then crit hit damage, for example, for Min, only exceeding his, right? So the more you have of that, that should be a sign for you. Okay, well, I need to put something in for crit as well too, for crit hit damage at the very least. But everything is HP scaled, and he's not a damage dealer, right? So you want to definitely have the 4-piece, so everybody gets advantage of that extra 4-piece set, giving the entire team 8% more damage, but reducing his, which is fine. He's a healer. That's the most important thing to remember. All right. So now for this set here, you definitely want Aquamarine. It's pretty straightforward. I have to swap these things out. Again, just doing some testing here and there. And also remember, another way to tell how you want to base a unit is off of your advancement of that unit, right? The more advanced the unit gets, the different their skills become, and that will kind of alter what set you want to use. So, but at the end of the day, guys, it's pretty straightforward. The recommended stats will tell you what you're looking for from a set perspective. So usually the top one is the main stat. And then these two here are going to be stats that give you the extra bonus things you need from a substat perspective, okay? So HP build, crit hit damage is your substat, and healing giving increase. Sorry, crit hit damage may be your main stat for him outside of HP. So will be the second stat you want to look for, and then healing given increase is probably going to be your next one. So you can build that with all three of them. With two of them, it doesn't matter. It's up to you. But that right there, I think a lot of people don't know that exists, is that all button right there, which allows you to see what exactly you should do from a perspective of building your units. Okay? All right, guys, this is Payne. Hope this video was insightful. I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Take care.